All right, guys, what a good treat, special treat. It's October, and for the first episode, we got kind of a spooky one. Ooh. We got Shannon and Elijah with the Apex Paranormal. They are ghost hunters, and this was a fascinating, fun, one of those episodes, that everyone's going to like. You guys are all going to like this one. I promise you that. And there's a lot of good information. If you've ever been interested in checking out like a quote unquote haunted house, and I'm not talking about like the ones with people dressed up. I'm talking like a paranormal one. There's different, all through the month of October, there's different packages you can do to do some ghost hunting with these guys, with these professionals. And I highly suggest you tune in and listen all the way to the end, get all that information, and try and see a real ghost. You guys listen to this episode. It's awesome. This was so much fun, really. And I can't wait. I'm going to do more stuff with them. And the apexparanormal.com, Instagram, all that stuff. I mean, listen to this and make up your own minds, guys. But enjoy it. Episode 116, perhaps. Boom, schlock, boom. Oh, also, real quick, if you guys voted for me in the Pitch Awards, thank you very much. I will keep you up to date when we find out the results of that. All right, guys, enjoy.
Welcome to the Inno Talk podcast. We'll no topic is off limits. Now here's your host, my daddy, and Roy the Soul. Thank you for coming to the Inno podcast. Boom, swat, boom.
We'll start off in 3, 2, 1. Here we are. Start the show,
Hello.
guys. I'm just going to sit here and watch.
Welcome to Neanderthal Podcast.
That sounded kind of weird. He said he was just going to sit there and watch.
Yeah. Neanderthal.
That happens. Neanderthal. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Neanderthal. Neanderthal.
It's a play on Neanderthal.
There we go.
So we got Shannon and Elijah in here. Couple of ghost hunters.
Ghost hunters.
I met you, Elijah, once at the Vale House, which is a haunted house here in Independence, Kansas City, if you will. And that was my first experience doing anything like that.
I gotta say, it was impressive. You had balls of steel. Not many people we can get to go down to the basement by themselves. You volunteered.
Oh, you were the guy that Elijah was telling us about.
Yep. Volunteered, went down, walked around by himself in the dark, middle of the night, and
That's pretty cool.
came back in one piece.
You want to know what else I did when I was down there? I wanted to see that guy.
I don't
did
know.
you do?
Do I want to know?
I don't know. I went down there I've never had any evidence to compel me to believe in ghosts. I want to believe and I want to see them. So when Elijah told me this story of the one that a lot of people see downstairs, he's like in a black shirt, he's got black hair, but he's like from the torso up. Mm-hmm. So many people have seen him. I was like, all right, I have to see it though. That's just me. I don't trust everybody. And so we went down there earlier and nothing had happened. And then we all went upstairs. And then I think we took a break for a little bit.
Yep.
And then you guys went back upstairs. But I was like, I'm going back down there because I want to see this guy. I was thinking maybe there was too many people down there. Maybe he doesn't want to put on a show for 4 or 5 people. Maybe for me he will. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I go down there. I'm like, all right. I go sit down there. And it was, it's a little spooky, I guess, but nothing's happened. I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And so I was like, and I felt I'm not this type of guy. It was even embarrassing while I was doing it, but I was like, all right, if you're here, show yourself. Let's go. I want to see you. Let's go. Come on, show yourself. What do you got? Come on. And I kind of was egging him on and come on, man. I've waited long enough. If you're real, let's fucking go. Show me you're real. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
And nothing happened.
And then I saw something across the room. I was like, okay, good. And I was like, you know what? Maybe that's not. I'm a hunter. I'm a bow hunter. I hunt in different kinds of light, and I know your eyes can play tricks on you. I was like, I focused on it. I was like, I don't think that's anything. And so I'm waiting, nothing. No noises. He didn't show up. Nothing. It was just, I was just in a dark basement. So I got up from my chair and then walked to the place where I was like, maybe that was what. And it was, just a discoloration of some paint and some brick. And I was like, all right, well. And it was right by the bathroom. There was a bathroom down there, and I had to pee. I was like, yeah, well, I'm here.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I peed, and then I went upstairs. Because I was down there for a while. It felt. So then I went up there and was joined your guys' stuff.
You know the worst part of that story? I don't think that toilet flushes.
No, it flushed.
It did?
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
I was thinking that
I
too.
checked first. I was like, I checked first. Like, all right,
Okay,
there's
good.
water in here. It's good. I'm not. Yeah, I was like, all right.
I was going to say, I'm not
flushed
sure that toilet works, so
That
there
would
may
be
still
horrible.
be.
You're like, Christy.
Yeah, right. You know,
That's crazy.
when it comes to ghost hunting, my brother-in-law is probably the worst about this because I've taken him on several ghost hunts. We've had stuff happen. He's seen things. He's heard things. But he still wants to have that Ghostbusters experience. You know, he's like, take me somewhere where they jump out of the walls and they chase me and
He
scream.
become possessed.
Yeah, he. But what we find is ghost hunting is not really like that. It's more subtle. Now, when you've been investigating a place and you investigate it, more and more over time, it's almost like they get more comfortable with you, and you'll start to have more intense, interactions and experiences. But for the most part, it's subtle. We're sitting here talking, and you'll hear a third person in between us talk, and you kind of think to yourself, "Whoa, shit! Did I really hear that? Is my brain was that from somewhere far away? I mean, it just doesn't. But it's a little more subtle. You see a ball roll, and it doesn't go flying and shooting across the room, but it rolls on its own, and it moves a little bit, and it kind of goes back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not your typical.
Sure. I wasn't expecting Slimer to come out of the wall.
Yeah, right.
And slime me. But when I heard how intense that dude, that ghost down there is, and it's been so clear, I was like, I was like one of those things. I was just that I have to see.
Yeah.
Can I go back? I'll keep going. I'm a hunter. I'm a bow hunter at that. So it's like I'm very patient. I'll wait months until I the opportunity to kill a deer. Sometimes I won't even get that opportunity. But I'm sitting in a tree all day by myself doing it. I'll come if this ghost is real. I'll keep coming back for a while until this dude says, "What's up, dude? Finally, all right. I believe. Yeah, fine. Stop waiting on me. Here I am."
Well, that's part of what's so cool about Vail Mansion, right? We've been doing this for.
Pull this up just a little bit more to you.
We've been doing this for years and
There
years.
you go. You hear that difference?
Listen to that deep voice.
Well, hello.
I know. You can do commercials for me.
You could.
We've been investigating for years and years. We've been to some of the most, reputed haunted places across the country, and we've never seen something like that guy in the basement. We call it a full-bodied apparition. That's what you typically think of as a ghost. It looks like a real person standing there.
That's what stories are. That's classic stories are made of, right?
Yeah. And Vail Mansion, that basement's the only time. And I think it's only me out of our whole
I was about to
group.
say, I think you're the only one that's actually seen it out of anybody who's ever investigated there. Am I
Nope,
correct?
Nope. And I was leading into that story. But, and it wasn't just me. We had a friend with us, Eric Insbrenner was down there, and he saw it too.
Right.
But several months later, so we let, third-party event companies rent the mansion. They come in, they run a ghost hunting event, and just kind of, pay us a rental fee, but it's their thing, it's their event. So we had a group out there a few months after I saw the guy, and they called me about 3-4 in the morning, and I'm going, oh my, it never happens. We get a bunch of these, nobody ever calls me in the middle of the night. I see my phone, I see who it is. I'm freaking out thinking like the place caught on fire. Somebody died, tripped and fell down the stairs and died. Something just insane is happening. I answer the phone and, what's going on? He's like, oh my God, Elijah. Oh my God, you're never going to believe it. Oh my God. He could barely get anything other than oh my God out. I'm like, all right, slow down. What's going on? What happened? We were in the basement. There's 15 of us, And we see this guy. We're in that room, the bathroom room that you're talking about.
Yep.
Where all 15 of these people are crammed in this room. We see this guy come walking through the doorway, walk all the way across the room, and disappear into the wall right by where that bathroom is. 15 people. And I said, there's no way. He said, no. All 15
That's
people
the story
saw it.
that sold me. That's why I'm like, all right, let's go. That's like a dude telling you, look, I saw a monster buck. He's right by this creek, by this oak tree, and if you just wait there, I promise you, he's gonna show up one day and you kill this giant buck of a lifetime. That's what that story. That's so I'm putting my hopes on this guy telling me there's this big buck there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, that goes to show, though, so many people go into these haunted locations hearing these stories thinking, I'm going to see this full body apparition in the basement in this location. And then they get bummed out when it doesn't happen and they think, oh, it's not haunted. That's not the case. They're not circus monkeys. They don't act on command. They appear when they want to. So, I mean, for things like that to happen with Elijah and for him to experience something like that in the group of 15 people, and then for you to go in and say, well, I mean, I went down there, I didn't experience it, but I'm going to come back, just shows that, just because a place is haunted doesn't mean things are going to happen to everybody every single time.
Well, I understand. It's like, even like going to a restaurant, you have a bad meal the first time you go there. I'm going to go back and give it a second chance.
Right, exactly.
I understand it. It's like fishing or anything too. I know this. If this was more prevalent, where every time you went down there, homeboys showed up, it would be like old hat. Like nobody would
wouldn't
even
be
care.
special.
Yeah, nobody would even
Yeah.
care. It'd be
Right.
Oh yeah, you didn't hear that on the news 12 years ago? Yeah, they sell tickets. You can go there whenever you want. It's like $7. You can just go see this dude and see him, whatever, come out and freak out.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We'll get you back in there.
Okay.
See what
I
happens.
enjoyed myself. It was interesting. I want this stuff to be real. There was a time where we were up there and I was sitting down and I did get goosebumps, but not your typical goosebump. It wasn't any type of goosebump I've ever experienced before. It was very isolated and it just felt different.
Where at in the house?
Oh, I don't remember. I think I might have been upstairs.
On the, a second floor?
The first
think it
time
was
when was when you were doing
Yeah.
the radio thing.
Yeah, the Estes. We were doing the Estes method.
Oh, okay.
And I think we were up on the third floor because I remember you saying that.
Mm-hmm.
And it is different. It's not a I got the chill, a cold wind, breeze blew on me and I got the chill. It's like a deeper, creepy. I need to leave.
It wasn't. I was enjoying this sensation. I was like, this is different. This is interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Is it just? But then again, I'm very science based. I'm very, I just hardcore facts. Not with everything. Like I'll entertain a lot of things. Like I've seen some. I've taken DMT and seen some crazy shit. Like. So I'm open to all kinds of things, and so it doesn't freak me out. Like I need to get out of here. I'm like, all right, this is kind of cool. Is something really big gonna happen now? Like, is something gonna happen? A door gonna slam?
Right.
I take that or open. Like I want to just.
Right. We did have something really cool that happened at Vail not too long ago. Whenever we had a crew there filming for commercials, I believe it was, a marketing team. And it's not something I've ever witnessed before, but we had a couple of people that were coming down from the second floor, and we had myself and Maddie. We were walking down the stairs almost towards the bottom step, and the chandelier had turned off and then turned on by itself. And we had tried our best to debunk it. We had Christy go through each floor to switch on and off light switches because some of them can control other rooms, and we couldn't debunk it. So something at some point when Maddie and I were walking down had turned the chandelier light on and off. So that was pretty cool because that's not something that we had experienced since we've been at Vail.
Yeah, no, that was a first. Yeah.
Wow.
It was really cool.
That's cool. Really cool. All right. Before we keep going and getting too far into this, I should probably let you guys introduce yourself because right now it's just us three talking about ghost stories. So let's start with Beauty Before Age. Shannon, go ahead and.
So I'm Shannon. I've been with Apex since 2017.
What's Apex?
So Apex Paranormal is a Kansas City-based paranormal team. and been around for 7 years now,
Oh,
I believe.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
Yeah. that's just
holla
some
at
years.
your boy.
Yeah,
Wow.
so how I got with the team, my foster son and my husband and I, we went to a winery, a haunted winery out in Liberty, and we went into the abandoned part of the winery, and we thought, well, we'll just check it out. We'll see if it's really haunted. And some of the experiences that we had were incredible. Some of the evidence that we ended up getting just from a cell phone was incredible. So I thought, well, maybe I can reach out to a paranormal team in Kansas City and see if they're willing to do guest investigations. I can't even tell you how many.
So you were already into the ghost
Oh, yeah.
hunting.
I was already into it. Yeah, I've been
Okay.
having experiences since I was 5. So
Okay.
it's something I've always been really intrigued with. And researching online and looking for teams, I came across Apex, and honest to God, what grabbed my attention was the profile pictures for their bios. They were goofy pictures, but I loved it. I love that they were just human, and they weren't
Goofy on purpose or accidentally goofy?
No,
They're
they
just-
were just goofy on purpose, and I
Okay.
loved it. And so it was just something about seeing their pictures that made me want to say, okay, I'm going to contact this team. And it started out with, do you do guest investigations? And then quickly turned into, hey, I know how to research. I know my shit. I think I need to be on your team. And I ended up with an interview like a week later, I believe. I had an interview a week later, and that interview went well. And I was supposed to meet with Elijah like 2 weeks later. That didn't work out. So I had a working interview at Malvern Manor during one of their events, and it was pretty cool. So at the end of the event, I was hired, and I've been on their team since.
That was how long ago?
2017. It was in March.
So we got 2
Wow,
years.
really?
Yeah.
3 years. So we
3
got
years.
3 years in.
Yeah.
That's been a while.
It has.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. It has definitely become my life.
Okay.
Yeah, I absolutely love it.
Elijah?
Yeah, so I'm Elijah Buchholz. I'm one of the co-founders of Apex. I don't think I have heard your winery story before.
Nice.
I think that's the first time I've heard that. And what is so ironic about that is Apex started out with just 3 guys who work together. We all work in the mental health field. One of them is not part of the group anymore. It's Eddie and I now. But Eddie and I and our other buddy would go up to the Belvoir Winery, the exact same winery she's talking about.
I never put those connections together.
I didn't either. I didn't know your story till I hadn't heard that till just now.
That's pretty weird.
But it's the Belvoir Winery up in Liberty. But we would go up there and let our ladies sit out in the patio and drink wine, and we'd go explore the abandoned buildings. And
Belvoir just lets you do that? You can just go...
No.
I think technically no.
Okay.
No.
At least not. I think they're a little more strict now.
They are now. Yeah. Before it was easily accessible,
Okay.
and quite a few people would walk in and out. But now they have it so guarded for liability reasons, because that place is really falling apart.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think back then it wasn't that you weren't allowed to. It was kind of turning a blind eye.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, if we catch it, and
They're here
you
spending
get
money,
hurt
right?
and-
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So we would go in the abandoned buildings and explore them, and every single time we went, we had experiences.
Wow.
And it was one of these things we never intended to be a paranormal team. We never we didn't even know each other were into paranormal things until we just kind of happened to get talking and going out there and having experiences. And we're like, all right, let's take this the next step. So we bought tickets to the Missouri State Penitentiary in Jeff City. Huge, massive old prison, crazy history, the bloodiest prison.
Oh, wow.
Whatever it's called, west of the Mississippi or whatever. We bought tickets to an overnight ghost hunt.
Okay.
And the minute we walked into that first building, we had nonstop, just mind-blowing activity happen that night. And that's really what got its hooks into us. And the next day we're like, this is freaking awesome. I want to do this all the time. Let's make this an officially a thing. And we created the team. And Honestly, it was just three buddies out having fun. We would go out and rent a supposed haunted place and have the opportunity to run around. We had very little equipment or gear, just a couple of things, and just wanting to have a good time. And slowly over the years, it's
just evolved.
It's evolved. It's
tremendously,
built and evolved,
especially over the last year. We have evolved so much, and it's crazy. Just in the 3 years that I've been with the team, and seeing some of the evidence videos that they've put out, it's nuts. Just how much we have grown as a team and how far we've come. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 4 locations that we're working with now. Vail being kind of our flagship location that we're doing. And when I say working with, we coordinate bookings for other paranormal groups that come in and rent it. We do events and ghost tours and things like that.
So you have some kind of contract? Like, how does that work?
We don't have a contract. This is not.
Or is this like a mafia type thing? Like, you guys can come to my Kansas City haunted house area,
right?
Listen, you got to pay the Vic.
It's
you
all
know what I mean?
It's basement contracts.
Yeah. What's going on here?
It's handshakes and baseball bats.
Yeah,
right.
I'm Tony Soprano.
Yeah. No,
it's we don't have official. There's some groups that try to get these locations to sign official contracts. Like, you're locked in 3 years. You have to. That's not how we operate.
Ours are just mutual agreements.
Okay.
Yeah, is essentially what it is. Like, we're there to help the location out, and they're there to help us provide a location to those that want to investigate so they can earn income to put back towards that location.
Okay. And you said you have 4 main
We've got
ones
4
right
now, man. Yeah, we started off kind of testing the waters with one place up in St. Joe and the only reason we got involved with them is because that place was so insanely haunted. You want your Ghostbusters chasing you around, that's the place you would get it. And we just wanted to get it out there for other people to experience. And after that, the opportunities just kind of fell in our lap, and
that's cool.
We got a reputation for being professional and genuinely caring about the locations we work with. For us, that's the joy. Is we like being able to help share these places, these historical places, with other groups, but we like helping the historical location too. All that the money that comes in, these
help
groups
everybody
rent it.
you can.
Yeah,
and the events are always so much fun that we put on too, because we get there's a few teams or a few places that have events, and you can follow your group leader and you can watch them investigate. And one thing that a lot of people pride on our team is we get them involved. So we start out with asking questions and having them ask a few questions, and then next thing you know, it's taken off and they're using some of our equipment, and at the end of the night they're like, this is great, we want to come back. And and one good thing about us too is there's a lot of age restrictions with some of locations too. You have to be 18 years and older. We require parental supervision. So that way it allows those that are under the age of 18 to come to our events and just hang out and have a great time and see what it is exactly that we do. And we've had some kids that come to our events that end up with bigger balls than we have. And it's pretty cool to watch. And these kids just get a kick out of it. And I absolutely love doing the events. I think they're so much fun.
And I'm not going to call anybody out.
Why not?
I
do it all the time.
I just don't want.
I have a diss track out on me.
Oh my God, that's phenomenal. That's how you know you've made it. I got involved with a group several years before Apex was ever a thing, and my experience with them was terrible. It was bad enough that it turned me off from paranormal for years. I wanted nothing to do with it, because if that's what this paranormal stuff was, I don't want a piece of it. So for us, what I really enjoy about doing the events, and we mainly do them around October, around Halloween season, is it's an opportunity for us to just share our passion. I mean, we love this.
I can tell.
Absolutely. We eat, sleep, breathe. We love it. And to be able to share that with the public, and, when we have young people come in, to be able to share that with young people and get them interested. And not only the ghost stuff gets the hook in them, but while they're there, they want to know the history. You know, they're learning to appreciate the history. They're learning to appreciate the building. They're,
Yep.
It's just such an incredible thing to experience all the way around.
Yeah, but like before we started, I love history, and I don't love early like recent history, like 100, 200 years ago. That's not too exciting for me, but it's fine. I like ancient history, but I still do appreciate it.
Yeah.
And so before we were doing the hunting type stuff, if you will, I did get to hear the Vale story and walk through the house and see all that and just hear just the whole story of the house and what it was with the 3 different times. It was like it passed hands, I guess, 3 different times, more or less. And it was just a very cool story, and it is interesting to get into that story. And then, all right, let's see what kind of action we got here from this history lesson we just got.
You know, maybe it's just my experience, but it seems to me like more and more, and maybe it's younger generation, I don't know, are not that interested in history.
It's what they can find on Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's a part of it because there's so much information.
TikTok generation, they got no attention span. It's just everything's quick, instant gratification. Just
But
technology.
You throw these ghosts in front of them, and that gets them in the door.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh my gosh, who is this Sophia Vale and Colonel Harvey Vale that built this place? And tell me about it. Tell me about their lives and tell me their story. And it just, you can see, especially with these events that we do, you can see in people's eyes this excitement to learn the history also, along with the ghost stuff. You know, it just kind of enriches, and the ghost stuff pulls them in, and then you get the history in them, and, you know, it's just great all around.
I think Colonel Vale had the first U-porn channel in history. He had that naked chick above the bed. So every night, and it was his own bedroom. That was above his bed. Every night, that dude's going to bed, looking at that naked chick. You know,
U-porn.
There's worse ways to fall asleep.
Pornhub, whatever. Yeah. You guys keep mentioning events, and like explain exactly what an event is.
So,
paper, rock, scissors. Who wants to go first?
Well, we're this year we're kind of doing different levels, right? We're starting the month of October out with just ghost tours. So there'll be opportunities for folks that just kind of want to hear the stories to come in. They're about an hour and a half long, and you get a tour of the place. You get to learn some of the history. You get to learn
from one of the 4 properties that you have, or
this is just Vale.
Okay,
just
so
Vale.
just Vale.
Speaking of Vale,
okay.
You get the tour, get the history, learn all the ghost stories, get to see the places that people have experienced things. One of the cool things about Vale is the 3rd floor and the basement have been off limits for years and years and years. When you come and do one of these paranormal events with us, you get to go to the 3rd floor and see what's actually up there. You get to go to the basement and see what it actually looks like.
Oh, cool.
So ghost stories, hour and a half, hour tour, and about 30 minutes of free time. Wander around, take pictures, you know, check the place out, ask questions, you know, whatever you want. 30 minutes to check it out.
It's a cool spot to take pictures.
It
like
really
all those
is.
rooms, like even
Yeah,
if you don't want to do like spooky, like it's just a cool place to take, like do it for the gram. You know, you can have some cool pictures with some interesting rooms. Like it's decorated really cool, old fashioned.
That place is beautiful. I absolutely love the way that they decorate around Christmas, and I'm so sad that they're not going to do that this year.
That's a bummer.
But it is so pretty. I love it. We did a Christmas event last year, and it was the Ghost of Christmas Past, I believe is what it was. And it was so cool.
Nice.
So they got to walk around, and for those that have never seen it decorated for Christmas, they got to walk around, see all the decorations, hear about the history, and then we did a group investigation afterwards.
Oh, cool.
So it was pretty cool. So crossing our fingers that this coronavirus goes away so we can have that again next year, because that would be awesome.
That's what we're all hoping for.
That might be a whole other podcast.
Yeah, for sure. Big time. So that's the level 1?
So that's the level 1. Level 2 is on October 23rd and 24th. We're going to step it up a notch. So the ghost tours will be led by volunteers from Vale Mansion.
Okay.
October 23rd and October 24th will be Apex coming in.
Okay.
And those will be 2-hour tours. A 2-hour tour.
3-hour tour.
Oh, it's 3. Wow, shit.
Stop. You just ruined that.
I may have too much whiskey in me already.
Already.
Those will be 2-hour tours. We'll do an hour with the ghost stories and the history and Apex. You get our kind of insights into all of our investigations there. And then we'll do an hour of investigating. So we won't get too crazy, but we'll break out some toys and let guests, use some of the ghost hunting gear and kind of show them what we do for about an hour. Then the big shabam will be Halloween night.
Halloween
night. This is about
October
the coolest
31st.
October 31st.
I don't think we've done a Halloween night investigation, have we?
I don't think there's been Halloween night. No, because this is the first time ever it falls on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. Usually we do like the weekend before or something like that, but it's Halloween night. It's a full moon. Mm-hmm. It's daylight savings time. It's a Saturday. So we're super excited to see what happens on this one.
Pretty cool.
But this one will be a full-on, late night investigation.
Strap in.
Strap in.
Interesting.
We're gonna break all the ghost hunting gear out. Apex is gonna lead it. We'll start with probably some simple things, ease people into it, and then we'll get into some crazier experiments and spookier things that we can do to give people some thrill. So,
how many people are you gonna cap that event at? The level 3.
At level 3,
how many people can buy that?
I believe we're capping that at, what is it?
It's no more than 30.
No more than 30, I think sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be pretty limited. I'm pulling it up just to double check.
How much for a ticket for that?
Nope. Actually, that's only going to be 20.
Okay.
So
I was going to say 30 people sounds like a lot of people in that house.
It is. Yeah, it is. And sometimes we have events that end up with that many, and we find a way to work it out to where everyone's spaced out, but you still run that risk of contamination. So we started dwindling down our groups a little bit for events so that way we don't run into that risk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we have 20 people, we'll probably split into, 4 groups of 5 people or something like that into different spots in the house, and then we'll do 45 minutes in a spot and kind of rotate around.
Right.
And when you do that, you get to work with a different investigator. We all have different techniques.
How fun is that?
We all have our own stations. It's pretty cool.
There
We
you
started
go.
doing something like that at Galore, and it turned out a lot better than just sticking with your investigator, because then they get to see the different ways everyone interacts and what kind of equipment they use. So it's pretty cool.
Excellent. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. So each one of us will be in a different spot. Maybe I'll be in the basement. Shannon's on the first floor. Eddie's on the second floor, or something like that. And we'll use different equipment, different technique. And then as the night gets later, we like to break out some creepier things that we do. There's other things
Like the Estes
method,
is a
like we
big
did with
one.
the radio thing that we did with you.
Yeah,
There's
that's
another
fun.
one we call deprivation sessions, and I don't want to give too much of the details away. You have to come and
put them in a
and find
blindfold,
out.
spin them around 30 times.
That's right.
And set them out in the darkness.
Sacrifice a chicken on the
Right.
board. Yeah.
Bring my knife.
Yeah, right. We started doing this. We do a big fundraiser for the Galore Psychiatric Museum every year,
Okay.
and that's kind of
Never heard of it.
Oh,
What?
Really?
Really?
I don't know. You're speaking Chinese to me. Glore.
Yeah,
Galore.
Psychiatric Museum. It's in
Wow.
St. Joe.
You got to check this place
What
out.
is happening? This place is
I'm
amazing.
very uncultured. I know very little about a lot of things.
Oh, you have to go. This place is amazing. They have each station shows you what life was like with mental health illness and how they tried to cure it.
Oh, those are horrific stories.
Right. It's like, they go into how lobotomies are performed, how they
Up
used
until
to
very
use shock
recently.
treatment. Like it's
They still
pretty
have
intense.
lobotomy tables there, and
Yeah. Whoa.
it's
you
an
have
old,
to check it out.
Yeah,
Is that that's a place to go for hunts? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have
Investigations. I guess I
yes,
should
they have
call
private
them.
investigations, and then they do public events with other agencies, such as I think Ghost Hunts is one of them.
Not anymore, but
No.
Haunted Rooms, I think.
Yes, that's
and
what I meant.
American
Yep.
Hauntings.
And then
with Trey Taylor.
we do ours like once a year, like usually the first weekend of October.
Yep. So not this weekend, but next weekend we'll be up there. That event's already sold out.
Man.
Because they did pretty limited tickets with COVID stuff this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible music. Look it up. Glore Psychiatric Museum.
GLORE.
Yep. Yep.
Look at me.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Can you
It's-
believe I can spell?
Well done.
Yeah, the entire thing used to be a psychiatric hospital, but they've separated it off to where now the part that's fully accessible is a museum. The part that's behind it is a women's prison, and it's still active. And then they have a school that's closed down that's
Whoa.
right next door. Yeah.
So they're,
And the coolest part is they've got underground tunnels.
could I turn this to like a 2-for-1? Like, go check that out, and then I'm a single guy. Maybe get one of those single gals there in the prison.
Stop.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
prison
get myself
dating.
a little pen pal. Wait till
think
she's
there's-
ready to bust. you
All right,
know?
black is the new orange.
I
Or
think,
orange is the new black. I said it backwards.
I think there's an app for that.
Yeah. All right.
There is actually. Prison pen pals is what it is, I think.
Oh
Of course,
my.
you would know that, Shannon.
I watch a lot of TV.
That's great. I had no idea.
I
Prison
think
pen
that's
pals.
what it is. It's prison pen pals.
How much are these different levels, Elijah?
Okay, so the ghost tours themselves, I believe, are only $15. Those are getting close to being sold out. There's only
Okay.
a few time slots left. The tier 2, where we do the tours and a little bit of investigating, is $25. I want to say.
I think
Does
that
right?
sounds like a good deal.
That's a great deal.
I think that's a good deal. I think that's worth $25.
Yeah.
Easily.
I've been to those haunted houses downtown.
It's
Edge
like
of
$80
Hell.
for one.
I don't know how much they are now,
They're-
but
yeah.
I went almost 20 years ago. I don't know. Was it $50 or maybe it was like $30 or something? It was outrageous.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I think now they're like, are they $50 a ticket?
No, I think
I
it's
wouldn't
more
be
expensive.
surprised.
I think the last time I checked, it's like $60 a
Oh,
ticket, and then if you
geez,
want
yeah.
two, it amps it up to about 80 or something.
No.
I just go to Worlds of Fun.
Ugh,
That's
is
a good
horrible.
one.
It's not.
I
worth
just
it.
go to real haunted
This,
houses.
yeah, for $25. Anybody? That's. I mean, this month is the scary month, or I guess October is the scary month. You know, that's when you do stuff like go
Yeah.
spend $25 instead of 80 on the. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and
That's a
these are
great
real.
deal.
This is
Right.
real ghosts.
Right.
This isn't
Maybe
makeup.
you get some
People
cool
in makeup.
pictures. This would be a good time.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Run the risk of something following you home. It's way better.
Whoa.
Right.
And then the big shabam on Halloween night is $70 per person. But that
Do that
event,
instead. Do that
yeah.
instead. Yeah. Whoa.
And that's from, I think we're going 8 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Whoa.
About 2 in the morning.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so for the VIP package there, the big dogs, the high rollers, what comes with that? Like outside, do you guys provide snacks or anything, or can they bring snacks? Can you bring drinks? Like how does that work?
You can bring drinks and snacks. We don't provide those. You can
Okay.
bring them though. Absolutely,
That's all I
that's
need.
allowed.
Yeah.
What that essentially what that gives you is access to Vail Mansion, full access to the entire building, 3rd floor, basement. That gives you a guided
With experts.
gives you a guided investigation
And equipment
with
to borrow
Apex.
if they want to.
Yep, we'll have all the latest, greatest, expensive equipment that's used in ghost hunting, stuff you see on the shows. You know, you watch Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures, all that. We've got all that kind
We've
of
had to
equipment.
throw Ghost Adventures in there.
I'm
didn't
just
we?
saying, if you watch the shows, all the gear that they use, we'll have that there for you to play with. I say play with. We'll have that there to play with and meet and greet with Apex.
I've never really
That's
watched
easily
one of
worth
those shows.
$2.
You've never watched any of the shows?
Mm-mm. I've seen maybe like one show until the commercials came on one of them on
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know. Discovery Channel, History Channel, whatever those. I don't know. Even though I couldn't tell you what it was called. Probably Ghost Hunter.
Ghost, they used to be pretty good. Ghost Hunters was and still is probably my all-time favorite because they were the most realistic. A lot of shows that you see come out now are more entertainment.
Yeah.
You watch Ghost Adventures, everything's a demon.
Yeah.
Everything's evil.
Ghost Adventures used to be good. I used to really enjoy watching Ghost Adventures. It was my every weekend thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But then they just started to become so overly dramatic. And as Elijah said, it turned into everything was demonic and everything was possessed. And then it just got annoying. TWC became one of my favorites.
Haunted Towns.
Haunted Towns.
The Weather Channel?
My yeah, that
Yep,
too.
the Weather Channel. That's a good one too.
Totally enjoy it. You never know. It's unpredictable. No, Tennessee Wraith Chasers became one of my favorite to watch.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed watching how they conducted a lot of their investigations because it just seemed a little more real and legitimate than Ghost Adventures, where that was more theatrical, I guess is the best
And
way
these
to
are all
put it.
shows that are on TV?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
Travel Channel is the biggest one now.
Travel
They're like
Channel.
all paranormal all the time.
You're
Okay.
pulling on my
Find your
cord.
Sorry.
You're pulling on my cord.
Vale Mansion in Independence was actually featured on the Travel Channel show Haunted Towns, and that was out in February of 19.
Cool.
Yes.
I think when it came out.
Yep.
So Vale Mansion was the big location on the show, and then they did the old jail on the square
Oh,
also.
I've heard about that. How
Yeah.
were those episodes? Were they good?
They were pretty good.
They were pretty
Yeah?
good, man. They were pretty good. Yeah. Shannon, and you get to see Shannon and I. We did interviews on there
Oh,
too.
cool.
So
How
that was
fun.
that was
my
a ton of fun.
My first TV experience.
Oh, fun.
That was awesome. It was
It was a blast.
cold as hell.
It was.
Don't even say it was because you got to have the tour inside a house.
Oh yeah,
I was
you
in
were
a
outdoor for
cemetery
your whole thing.
when it was like
That's
12
right.
degrees outside.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it was like we had a blizzard not too long before that, and so I was checking the weather, and it was 12 degrees that day. It was so bitter
Whoa.
cold.
That sounds terrible.
Whoa.
It was so cold. I couldn't feel my toes afterwards.
They did a great job. They flew a little loose with the history a little bit. I
You
understand.
got so much time.
You got so much time, and you're trying to make it as entertaining as possible. So I get there's a little fluidity with some of
Yeah.
the stories and things, but they did a phenomenal job,
Okay.
and it did a great job of bringing attention to Vale too.
Yeah, they've been at Vail a couple times now since then for events.
Yeah, we had the cast out. Did an event this last summer. They're going to come next summer to the Bingham Wagner Estates and do an event there, estate. And then we've got the cast of the Ghost Hunters coming to Vale.
Oh, cool.
Vale and Bingham both in first weekend of
They're
December.
probably a big deal in your world.
That's pretty huge. That's
Yes.
pretty huge.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've ever had an event sell out that fast. I
Oh,
mean,
cool.
it was a couple of days, both of those events, Vale and Bingham Wagner, both sold out pretty quick.
Yeah.
So we're excited. I'm going to probably fanboy because I'm a huge fan of the Ghost Hunter show. I'm excited to have them out here.
Isn't that funny that they're kind of celebrities, but like in your world, they're big time celebrities? Like,
Yeah.
I have little things like that too. Where like nobody would. This guy can walk around wherever the hell he wants. No one will ever see him. But then I would see him like, dude, I love your stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
I said there was a barbecue show once. I don't even remember the name of it. Like Barbecue Wars or something like that. And this dude name was it Byron Mixon? He was like this old dude with like gray hair and a gray beard, and he's kind of verbose and cocky, and he wins a lot, and and I saw him on the plaza one time walking around. I was like, hey, dude.
Yeah, you're
Like, I was
fangirling.
like, I was like,
loved
hey,
you.
I just
Yeah.
went up to him, I shook his hand, I was like, I really like your shows, man.
Yeah.
You got a bunch
Yeah.
of shows. Like, oh, thanks a lot, man. I was like, yep, have a good day.
I'll tell you another little secret. This is my biggest fangirl moment, and I don't think we're supposed to share this yet. So this is exclusive.
Ooh, yeah.
What?
So then why are you going to share it?
Why not?
Why
Oh
not?
my God.
This is exclusive because I like this
A
guy.
Neanderthal exclusive,
You can
baby.
never tell him a secret. He's
Neanderthal
like a girl.
exclusive.
Yeah, I get these from time to time. It's okay. Let them go.
Go ahead, beauty shop
Let
Betty.
them go.
We had Tech 9.
Oh, shit.
Tech 9 came to Vale. He filmed a music video. He's got a new song coming out. It's going to be released around Halloween.
Oh, damn.
It's a Halloween themed song.
Nice.
And they shot the music video at Vale. So I kind of took advantage of the situation, and
Yeah.
Vale requires somebody to be there on site. It's an old museum, lots of expensive stuff.
Yeah.
So I took the late shift. So we got to hang out and hang out with Tech 9.
That was
and
sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
That was super cool, and I cannot wait to see that video when it comes out.
Did you guys do some investigating with them there? Did they do anything like that, or were they just shooting?
I gave them a tour. So I gave them a tour of the basement, told them this, the stories I shared with you.
You gotta know, watch it. Sometimes the cords get
Sorry.
Let me just
put
let
them
it go. Let it go.
underneath.
Put them up here. Gave him a tour and shared some stories with him, but he wasn't interested in investigating. The director was. We exchanged. I got the director's digits.
Nice.
And he wants to come out and investigate with us sometime.
Do it.
So that was pretty cool. And he wasn't even. I mean, he was there for, 30 minutes. They were there shooting for hours and hours, 12 hours, I think. And he wasn't there super long, but to be able to meet him, and as soon as he pulled in the driveway, I was like, don't act stupid. Don't act stupid. Don't act stupid. I was just so pumped to meet the guy.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it was cool. We got pictures with them, and hopefully it gives Vale a little more attention too once that video comes out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I got a rapper buddy. One of his albums is sitting right over here. That I was telling him about it, and he's like, "Oh, I would love to do something like that." And like he's super into that. Like he would love to get into something like that. It's like, I'll talk to one of them. Maybe maybe they'd let you come out there or something.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
send them our
That'd be
way.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Send them our way.
And he'd get into that stuff. He's super, spiritual and.
I talked to Tech 9 about. I was trying to get him to come investigate with us. He was big into investigating years ago, and he shared. I'm not going to share the details, but he had a pretty personal story and, a good reason why he's not wanting to do that anymore.
Okay.
But I tried.
Of course.
I'm like, Tech 9's sitting here. Let's get him to come investigate with us. How cool would that be?
Do you guys do YouTube or anything like that?
We do YouTube. We do to you.
We do. Yeah. How do you say? We do
English
do
is
YouTube.
optional.
Wow.
Yeah.
We do YouTube. Yes. So over the years we've been doing this, we put out, when we do an investigation, all the evidence that we collect, we put into a video and we put on YouTube. So you just look up Apex Paranormal. You'll find it. You Google Apex Paranormal, you'll find everything you want to find.
But do you guys do like a show type thing, like edit it and cut it together and make it look good?
So
Yeah.
we had started something. It's something new we started this year.
Good.
It's a few of us have talked about it last year, and we said, this is the focus that we want to have. We really want to do episodes, but we just weren't quite sure how to go about it. So you can tell in some of our evidence videos that we started to do a little bit of documentary stuff, but we just weren't quite there. And this year we went in full force. So now we have Apex Chronicles, and it's just every episode it's getting better and better. This next one that we have coming out is going to be really cool with some of the effects that we've had. Elijah and I got to spend the evening, our first night investigating, just focusing on just getting footage in and getting in B-roll, and just that alone is going to look super cool. So we're excited.
Yeah, there's only 2 episodes out.
Okay.
One was filmed at McIntyre Villa, and it's a good episode. It's entertaining. Beatty Mansion was like twice as good of an episode. Every time we do it, we're learning more and more. Yeah.
I sucked at the camera angles.
There's a lot to think about.
All you could see was just a brick wall and somebody's butt. Because I was not the best at camera angles.
Figuring out how to frame things and getting angles.
I'm doing a little better.
So we're learning. Yeah. And this last episode we shot, we took some cool footage, like night footage, and we got a drone, so we got cool drone shots and yeah. So our goal for ourselves, we're doing this because we're making these episodes because it's fun for us, and it's a challenge. It's a next challenge for us and what we're doing.
We'll just keep elevating,
You
keep evolving. You said the Apex keeps evolving. This is the obvious next step of evolution.
Yep.
That's what I think. So, and
that's going to evolve too,
Yeah.
And we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
Our hope is once we get kind of a first season, put together. We're gonna try to get it on Amazon Prime.
After one season, that's pretty ambitious.
Yeah, just so we can
I
get
imagine
it
there's
out
a lot
there.
of ghost hunting
You don't know this guy.
YouTube video
We-
shows out there.
We weren't even one episode in, and he's like, "Let's get it on Prime." We're like, "Well, wait a minute. We need to really evaluate like how we're doing these first before we just throw them out there." But then, in the same time, though, I was also saying, "Yeah, let's do it."
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You want to have goals.
Shannon and I come up with some pretty lofty ideas, and at times Ed needs to bring us back down to earth, but
Yeah.
other times he lets us run wild and
Just to get it out of
we
our
just see what
system.
happens.
Yeah.
It's worked well so far.
It has. Yeah, Eddie is definitely the dad in the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely keeps us grounded.
You know, that's a way to go. Trying to get it on like the History Channel, or what did you say? The
Travel Channel,
It's a-
yeah.
That's like probably a nice goal to have, but there is an option in a way this day and age is to just blow it up on YouTube. You just keeping it going on YouTube. Be your own boss,
Mm-hmm.
and then you don't have to worry about a whole lot of politics and
Right.
extra producers and cameramen and all these other key grips. I mean, what editors and just more mouths to feed, and I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying that's one avenue to think like, hey, if
Yeah.
I don't make it to that channel, like your YouTube channel, there's people that make tons of money on YouTube. It's crazy.
And we do. Our team does get a lot of recognition from YouTube. Anytime I've done a tour, someone is really quick to recognize me and say, "Oh yeah, you're in all these like YouTube videos that I've seen from other teams or just from stuff that you guys have put out." And so that's usually a quick reference.
There's probably not a lot
you guys
of
on YouTube.
Probably
Yeah.
not a lot of other pretty ghost hunters out there.
No, just us.
True.
Wait, are there like? Is it? I'm just
There's
imagining
some, yeah,
it's
there's
a
some.
primarily
Yeah.
male field.
Well, we heard Elijah and I hear that we're the best looking.
Yeah.
Somebody did tell us that.
Somebody
didn't they?
actually did tell
Not to
us.
toot our own horns, but somebody did butter us up and say that the other day.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna bode well for you for your YouTube channel. If
Well, I
you
don't know
guys-
about that, but
we've got a
made me
pretty
feel
good looking
good.
team.
There you go.
We
That's
really
good.
do,
That's
actually.
half the battle.
So we've interviewed for the bigger network TV show stuff, but they always want to split the team up. We'll take two of you, but we don't want to take the whole team as a team.
How big's your team?
We've got 4 of us now.
5.
5.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's Shannon and I and Ed are the 3 main members. Allie is our psychic medium that we work with, and then we've got
We have Tyler.
Tyler,
And
who's
he's-
newer to the team.
Tyler.
I met him.
I don't.
Right? Did I meet him?
Yeah, I think you did. I think Tyler was there.
I think so. That
Yeah.
name
Yeah.
sounds familiar.
Yeah, he came on to do a guest investigation at for our schoolhouse, and that was a pretty cool experience. I mean, for him to be there as a guest, have never experienced stuff like that before, and to get really cool evidence just from that investigation. I was kind of jealous, actually. But just from then, we took on such an interest with him and had him join our team. And
He was a good fit.
yeah,
personality-wise.
he's been an awesome asset since. He's been with us for about a year now, I think. Just about a year.
Yeah, about a year. He goes a little more part-time. He's in law school. So during the school year, he's,
Pretty wrapped up in that.
yeah, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
And then my oldest daughter and my middle daughter, my oldest daughter investigates with us quite a bit. And then my middle is interested and wants to
That's gonna be fun.
feel it out. It's super cool
Yeah.
to see them getting interested.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
But we've interviewed for these shows. They've either wanted to pick the team apart and only take a couple members, or they'll say things like, "Are you okay with faking evidence? Are you okay with just
That's
stuff?"
why I don't want those shows. That's why I don't watch those shows on TV.
No,
I don't
right.
trust them. I don't trust
Right.
them.
And we're not in this because we want 2 of us to go on a TV show and get
Right,
famous.
you guys are a
That's not why
team.
we do it. We're having fun together as a team.
Right.
And so we made the decision, let's try this on our own. Let's do our own little YouTube series and do it ourselves, and it's all of us, and just have a blast, and we're enjoying it. It's pushing us to be different. Any group can go into a location.
You want to kill that, Elijah?
I'm good for right now, man.
Or that's all that's left.
I'll grab it in a second. Any group can go into a location and say, who's here with us,
Mm-hmm.
or knock on a wall, or the
is
same
what we
stuff
do a
over
lot.
and over and over. But as we're making episodes, it's making us think outside the box. Like,
Yeah.
what can we do for this one that's different than the last one? Or what can we do for this one that maybe people haven't seen before?
Like there was, whenever we did Mick and Tier, one thing that our viewers really, you like that, viewers? One thing our viewers really appreciated
Plural, huh?
was that,
There's two.
Yeah,
There's two now.
Two, maybe three. I think we got three today.
Your team doesn't count.
We're working on
And two of them
viewers.
don't even watch.
We're working on it. They really appreciated our episode in debunking a haunted location while experimenting with a certain piece of equipment. So we used a music box because the music box interacts as a motion detector. So we really wanted to make sure that whenever we were using this music box, that it was actually doing what it was supposed to be doing. So a lot of our fans thought it was awesome to be able to watch us try and debunk the way this music box really works. And they have actually requested more episodes like that for us to use different pieces of equipment rather than just the same old, I'm investigating this place and I'm asking these questions, as he had said. They want something different and not just the same
I was just gonna
stuff.
suggest like those kinds of videos are huge on YouTube. Like how to use a music box. You guys could do a whole episode while you're investigating. How to use the Estes machine. How to use this. How to use that. Like those episodes would be huge. Just solo episodes of that, and they don't even have to be super long.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That episode we had the first night we had some really cool interaction with this. It's basically the old timey ding 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 kind of music boxes. It's that attached
With
to
a spinning ballerina.
with the spinning ballerina. It's one of those, and it's attached to a motion detector that shoots a laser out. So if something breaks that laser beam, it sets the music off, right?
Whoa.
So we had this thing up in the attic of the Mick and McIntyre.
Mick and Tier.
The
Make it like a
McIntyre
high,
Villa.
make a hidey hole.
Whoa. Pee Wee Herman.
And we got this ghost to interact with it, and it seemed like he was directly answering our questions using the music box.
And it seemed way too like coincidental the way things were working, and I think that's what kind of triggered us
It was
to really
too
test things out.
real. Yeah, so we spent most of the whole next day doing different experiments, trying to figure out how this thing could just go off on its own. We called the people that manufacture it and got their information on how it works and filmed that interview, and it's in the episode. And
We interviewed one of our really good friends who has their own paranormal team that's done quite a few episodes at one of our St. Joe locations that also uses a music box. So we interviewed him and got that on video as well. His interpretation of using it and what he thinks is valid and not valid while using it during the investigation.
yeah, and we showed all this in the video. I think that was a big thing that separates us from a lot of other videos out, because they'll say, oh my God, there's lights flashing. That's a ghost. Rather than saying, oh my God, there's lights flashing. Let's figure out why in the hell those lights are flashing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
it goes
funny.
straight to ghost. And to kind of pull that curtain back and show us trying to figure it out and how it worked, I think was probably the coolest thing about that episode.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it almost seems like the ghost hunting from an outsider's perspective might seem like they might have like a lot of magician type, what do you call that, where they don't tell anybody, they don't reveal their tricks.
Yeah.
You guys could be the kinds of magicians that reveal the tricks, because we want to see it, and that'll bring more people into it and bring more legitimacy to it.
Right.
Like I want to know how this shit works. Like why you say this thing works and detects a ghost, but tell me why it does, and you know.
Yeah,
Break it
that's
down.
kind of our general approach. There's locations out there that will tell you fabricated stories just to make the location seem more scary and haunted and mysterious. And our approach has always been, let the place speak for itself.
Right.
Like there's a lot of BS stories around Vail. We'll tell you that's a BS story because you're gonna have activity, or you may not. But hopefully you're going to have activity, you're going to catch evidence, and that needs to tell the story versus us making stuff up.
Right.
One of the most well-known, I'm going to call this one out, one of the most well-known haunted places in our area is the Sally House up in Atchison, Kansas. Super famous, been on all kinds of TV shows all over the place. And, 80% of the stories that come out of that or that are revolve around that are made up. They're not real.
Yeah, how do you
What's the
deal with
point?
that?
What's
Yeah.
the point?
Yeah.
Why make a story? The place is I'll tell you right now, Sally House scares the shit out of our group. We have not, after our last trip there,
Does
we
it
have
scare
not,
you? You're shaking your head like does or doesn't.
Yeah, it's yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's creepy even talking about it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
It's
It's
a whole
just-
different,
whole
I'll tell you,
nother
it's a whole
level.
different level. It's a whole different level.
Yeah.
But
Fucking
why?
go.
Well, but let me say this. Why do you need to make stories up when the place is haunted? One of our, and I'm not going to name this one because we love them and we're friends with them. And but another place that's one of the most haunted places we've ever been, and they tell made up stories. Like why? Why? The place speaks for itself. You're going to have activity. Tell the stories of what the activity is and the evidence and the actual ghosts that are there.
See, I think that's part of probably the problem with your guys is with people, outsiders viewing ghost hunters and ghost investigators is because you guys, I don't know, you probably should hold these people accountable if they're throwing bullshit out there. Let people know because that's why people are like me are skeptical because I know how easy it is. Like I don't believe you. I want to see it with myself.
Yeah. There's been for Sally, there was a story that had came out, and it was questioned. One of the events that we had, I am friends with a couple of people that attended the event. Just so happened, this friend that I have, her daughter's father had resided in the house at the time that the story came about a Ouija board being used and all this crazy stuff happening in the basement. And she had said, I will tell you firsthand that did not happen. And so I had said, that's amazing, because this is, as part of my job, I have to research this for my team to make sure they're prepared with absolutely everything that they need before we go into investigation. So finding this information out, I thought, well, this is great. And I had informed the main person that we had contact with in regards of Sally, hey, this is what I had found out. And it was a quick, oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. Okay. Well, and and it's unfortunate because they feel that sticking with a story that brings in a crowd is better, but it's not.
Well, I think part of the problem is the stories sometimes take a long.
Well, lying's never good.
No, and some of these stories take on a life of their own. Like the reason it's called Sally House and the main story around Sally is the story of this little girl named Sally who was brought. A doctor lived there. Was having her appendix ruptured.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and emergency surgery in the kitchen table, and she died on the kitchen table, and that's who's haunting the place. Come to find out, that story's bullshit. We found out it was an old mayor made that story up to help generate more tourism around the Sally House. So we call the damn thing the Sally House, and it has nothing to do with anybody named Sally.
No little girl died.
No little girl died.
Okay.
There's nothing documented. There is a Sally that lived nearby.
A servant.
Right.
It was an old servant lady.
Right. But they don't know. There's no connection for her to have with the house itself. So it's just, there's a lot. Trying to research history on this house as well as the house that's next door that was also owned by extended family. It's just, there's a lot to whittle through between what's factual and what's fiction.
Now, I will tell you, we have caught evidence of a little girl there.
Mm-hmm. Well, we
don't
don't know if it's a little girl.
We as a group, we don't think it's a little girl.
No.
We think it's something evil masquerading as a little girl. And we've got other, our own theories about that. But again, why perpetuate the story that's not true when you have stuff happening there anyways? Tell the real story. Get to the bottom of it. Figure it out and get that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Figure it out, eh?
Figure it out. Let's get out there and tell them, eh?
Stuff.
Tell them what it's about.
I'm sorry. All right. So I think we got a good kind of depiction view of what Apex is and that stuff. But you did say something that you think a little girl is evil. So you think there's spirits, but then there's different levels of spirits. There's like good spirits, bad spirits, like I guess quote unquote evil, you would say. And what does that mean? Like what are, I don't know. You want to describe some of these? Whoa, you guys are afraid to talk about it?
No, just trying to,
or apprehensive a little.
Just trying to think how to word it, because
Okay.
here's the thing. A lot of, all these places we've been, all these experiences we've had, I would say 99.9% of the time it's not evil.
Mm-hmm.
It's
presumed to be.
It's presumed to be, but it's just an asshole.
It's yeah.
If somebody's an asshole while they're alive,
They're an asshole in death.
they're not going to become nice when they're dead, right?
Yeah.
They're an asshole in death. So
We're not being humbled, not even by death, huh?
yeah, right. No.
But a
We
lot-
run into
Not
asshole
even
ghosts.
death
Yeah.
will humble me. Fuck you.
But a lot of people, misconstrue that as evil energy, and it's not. It's just they're angry. So, I mean, you can call it negative, you can call it aggressive, but it's not demonic or evil. They're just pissed off. And that's really all that it is. But it's just that kind of energy is automatically demonic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it's not the case.
Now, what is at Sally House? I think we would all agree 100% is evil.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I think it was this little girl that brought it on? No. Do I think it was this urban legend of, there's two of them. There's one of high school boys doing rituals in the basement. Then there's
Which
one
is
of an
not
old
true.
lady, which is not true. Then there's one of an old lady that lived there doing rituals in the basement, which is also not true. Do I think it's that? Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
What I do think it is people have gone in there and done irresponsible things.
Yeah. Yep.
While ghost hunting, or
Yeah.
just in the history of that.
No, I think my theory,
while ghost hunting.
ghost hunting.
Because, I mean, as soon as somebody hears
That can
there's-
turn things evil.
I think it's.
Oh, yes.
I think it's brought something in there. I think it's invited something in there
Okay.
that.
Like if
and-
you're using Ouija boards irresponsibly,
right.
that is a huge thing that can bring in.
I don't even know what that means. Using Ouija boards irresponsibly.
So-
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, it
That's
is.
a thing.
it
I
is a
don't believe
thing.
in Ouija boards. I believe somebody is moving it. I don't know. Again.
Yeah, it is a thing. If you don't open it and close it the right way, if you're not responsible with the way, because you have. How you investigate, you have to investigate respectfully. So you need to do the same with a Ouija board. Because with a Ouija board, you're opening a portal for anything to come through.
It's something you buy at Target for like $15.
I know,
Right.
I know. And it's crazy how something like a toy can have this much. I think a lot of it has to do with using Ouija boards or just even anything else that they might use while they're investigating is what has brought in a lot of this negative stuff.
So there's I guess maybe I need to phrase this differently. So you believe that we have these ghosts or these investigations, I guess what we're calling ghosts. The guy that's floating at Vale and the different instances, Estes, you hear different things. Those are ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is there something different that is an evil, demonic, I don't want to call it an entity, a spirit, if you will, or something like there's like something completely different, like a whole nother realm?
A whole other thing. And
Okay.
I don't think that we can. I don't think that we can properly define and explain that. We don't have enough experience. I don't.
No.
Sally's about the only place we've ever encountered something like that. The Villisca Axe Murder House, which is up in Iowa, is the other one that I would say we experienced something very, very similar in the interaction you get and the. Well, I'll give you a couple stories. First time we ever went to Sally House, 3 buddies, cracking jokes all the time, absolutely love each other, get along nonstop. The minute we step foot in that house, we're snipping at each other, yelling at each other, arguing with each other. And the minute we step back out, and I'm talking you cross the threshold of the front door. Well, so we left to go on we set our equipment up. We left to go take a break. The minute we walked out of that front of that house, we weren't just in a better mood. We were giddy is the best way to describe it. I mean, just you felt 100 pounds lighter and just giddy happy.
Mm-hmm.
We went to get snacks at the gas station, and then we start driving around going, hey, I heard this place is here. Let's go check that out. And we go, what about that place? Let's go check that place out. Let's go check. Next thing you know, we're gone for an hour and a half, and I kind of snapped to the realization, like, guys, we're driving around avoiding going back. Like, we're here to investigate this house.
Right.
We need to get our asses back to the house, and we're doing it not realizing that we're doing it, you know? We get back to the house, and typically when you investigate, you're expecting footsteps, voices, knocks, bangs, things move, you know. That's typical ghost stuff. You don't get that at Sally House. It was almost boring because nothing happens.
Like the calm before the storm.
Like the calm. And then I go back and I watch the video, and you see Ed. We're in the kids' room. You see Ed sitting on the bed, and Ed has pretty good posture, right? He sits up nice and straight and tall all the time, and hands on his knees. And over the course of 20 minutes, you see him start to shrink down and shrink down and shrink down until he's huddled over. And Ed says, you guys, I really don't feel good.
Oh, wow.
Like, what do you mean, Ed? I feel nauseous. I feel sick. I feel heavy. I feel just terrible. I feel terrible. So we said, well, let's step out of the house, catch some, fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what happens the minute he crosses the threshold
Boom.
of that house?
Bouncing around, ready
Boom,
to go.
bouncing around, happy, giddy,
Yeah.
100 pounds of pressure off of him. It's that level. So when you encounter these things, it's not the ghost activity. It's this oppressive, emotional, psychological fight almost.
Yeah. That house is like, it really fucks with your head.
It's
Big
crazy because
time.
one of the other times we were there investigating, we were trying to decide every time we've been except once, we've packed up in the middle of the night and left rather than sleep there. So the second or third time we were there investigating, things got pretty intense. I had my daughter there with me. Things got really intense with her. She ended up in tears and just super emotional. And so the middle of the night, 2, 3 in the morning, we're debating, we had intentions to sleep. Do we really sleep here? And I made the comment, I don't think I can be responsible as a parent and feel good as a parent allowing my daughter to sleep in this house. We're not getting ghost activity. We're not getting voices and footsteps. We're getting this evil crap again. And the minute I said that, we hear a voice out in the hallway. We hear footsteps coming up the stairs. I mean, immediate, almost like it was trying to goad us into staying there.
Oh, whoa.
Which it has done
Whoa.
on multiple occasions after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's even talked about going home with us. I'm waiting outside. I'm going to ride in the back of your car, which incidentally that night 2 of us thought we saw somebody sitting in the back of our cars driving home. And then when we investigated McIntyre Villa, which is in Atchison, 2 miles away maybe.
Yeah.
We were doing that Estes session, and Sally came through. Why haven't you guys come to see me? We're family. Where
Yeah.
have you been?
It was a little upsetting.
It ended up with you in tears. It got
Yeah,
so intense that you ended
Atchison,
up in tears.
Kansas?
Yeah. Yeah.
We made the mistake of driving by Sally House.
it pulls you to it. Whenever we had an event there, we had an event like my birthday weekend. I thought, oh, this is awesome. I get to have an event at Sally my birthday weekend.
Will you guys ever go again?
I don't know. Every time we've been there, we've said we're not doing that again. And about 2 years later, we'll go back. This is, I think, our 3rd year since we've been there.
Yeah, but I don't know because this last time that I was there, I mean, it really messed me up.
Yeah.
Really bad.
It's gotten progressively worse.
Yeah.
Every time
Get on that
we've
mic a
gone.
little bit more, Shannon.
I was paranoid for 6 months. I honestly thought that I had something following me. Something was constantly in my car. I was having awful nightmares. there during the time of the event, it was our second night there, and it was just Eddie and I, and we were doing a double Estes, and it was something we've never done before. And I thought, oh, this is cool. We're going to try this. So we had one girl in one room and another in the master bedroom, and Eddie was nowhere around. And he decides he's going to come upstairs. And, you know, these people are blindfolded. They've got earbuds in their ears, so it's super loud. And this girl says, oh, you're back. Not even knowing that he's coming up the stairs, sent chills up my spine. Well, then we had a situation.
Well, the other one said, here he comes or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
And then it said, back to the other one, it said
yeah.
Eddie.
Yeah. So they were like communicating with each other, not even realizing it. I was doing a live video through the last part of it. And just before things got super dark, some woman yells out, Jesus is coming. And then she just starts freaking out. And you hear this, I can't even like describe it, but it was this like childlike cat sounding voice that came through so clear through the video that even our live viewers heard it. And it was just hair raising.
Whoa.
And I said, I'm done. We're stopping this. I can't do this anymore. And we ended it. The night was a little rough. Elijah was really upset that we stayed the night because I said, oh yeah, no, we're not going to stay the night. We ended up staying the night. Because
in the house?
Yeah.
Like what, sleeping bags and shit?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we had an ice storm that night.
So you probably had no choice, really.
Right.
So you're like legit in a haunted house.
Yes. It's almost like the house planned it.
Shit.
Side note, Shannon and I have been iced in several times now.
I know. We're all
Total side note, but
yeah, we always get trapped in like in a haunted place where we plan for a whole team to go, and the next thing you know, it's just Elijah and I. We're like, what the fuck?
yeah, we went to this giant old hotel. It's like a city
horrible
block
luck.
long,
Like Mineral Springs Hotel,
city block
Yeah.
wide, and it's like 6 stories tall. I mean, just massive.
Yep.
And we had a bunch of people coming, and they left a little later than us and drove into the storm, and we were just ahead of it.
Yeah.
And we got snowed in.
Yeah. As we're
it was
driving,
like The Shining, man. We got
Yeah.
snowed in this massive hotel.
Yeah,
by
as we're
ourselves.
driving up, like we see the storm, and I'm like, Elijah, this is a cinematic moment. And then all of a sudden, it's like torrential snow. It was out of control. But yeah, so with Sally, that was rough. The next morning Eddie and I did a live video, and we were doing a recap because we experienced a lot while we were sleeping overnight. And during our live report, you hear somebody, and we even have our viewers that said, I heard that. You hear somebody jump off the counter and onto the floor, and you hear both feet land on the floor.
Loud, heavy loud.
I mean, it was like stomping. And he and I are the only ones in the house. And it's just, so...
It's unnerving.
It is. Yeah, it's rough. So 6 months it took.
Eddie brought up going back this year, and Shannon and I vetoed that real quick.
Well, I mean, there was a thought. There was a thought that I'm like, oh yeah, this might be a good idea. But I don't feel like it's me saying it's a good idea. It's the house saying, oh yeah, it's totally a good idea. But I don't.
This is what I'm talking about.
I don't.
This is what I'd like to check this shit out.
I don't
all right.
comfortably
It's
like.
sucking
I don't.
me in, you guys.
No. Anytime somebody's like, yeah, why don't you take me there? I'm like, hell no, I'm not taking you
Just
there.
drop me off.
Listen, it sounds
No.
great when you're sitting with all the lights on in your own house, right? And it's light outside.
Right.
It's that, but you, and it's not just these experiences; it's the way you feel.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's indescribable.
Yeah.
You feel
There's an
this-
energy in there, huh?
Yeah. But you feel this like deep-seated terror, and it's not. Like I'm scared somebody's trying to mug me and break in my house.
No.
No, I know.
It's
I
just like
gotcha.
scared for your soul terror.
I gotcha.
It's
And
insane.
it's super. I mean, and to think
I've
about
had that before. It is a scary feeling.
It is. And it has so much. I mean, to think about the amount of control that it has to where you're just driving in Atchison, and out of the blue, you think, I'm going to go ahead and drive to Sally House. And that's, for a fact that that's not your thought, but somehow it became a thought. And then you're investigating at McIntyre like Elijah and I were doing. And we're doing Estes and I'm asking questions, and next thing you know, Sally's coming through, and I'm like, you have to be kidding me.
Or the evil entities, what you call, you said Sally. That's
Right,
what we
yeah.
nicknamed this.
Right.
Yes.
No, I get that.
And
yeah,
it's just, it's yeah.
Well, what's crazy is we were drawn to it before we've investigated. Remember, we're like, should we drive by Sally? Let's drive by Sally. I kind of want to go see Sally.
I know. And then
like-
we were just
like this
battling back and
tractor
forth.
beam pulling you in kind of thing.
And then we actually we had at one point decided, well, maybe we shouldn't. We need to go back, but we ended up there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it showed up. Yeah.
Yep.
And it was intense. It ended with Shannon getting so freaked out. You burst into tears and
Yeah. I hate that place.
and pulled me out. And yeah,
I
it was
do.
nuts.
I mean, there's places where I experienced some crazy shit, but with Sally, it's
Which, side note, we were filming that whole thing. And so I was like, awesome. This will at least make it good in the video. We'll look good in the video.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't find the video.
No way.
We had
Oh,
two
yeah.
cameras recording.
Whoa.
Couldn't find the video.
No, it was
had
completely
just
gone.
disappeared. And the cameras were recording for a fact.
yeah.
Yeah, this is like promoting it. Yeah, go ahead. This is promoting the place, not scaring people. No,
Yeah,
I'm sure it
I
scares
know.
people. I'm like, I
I know.
got
It could do both. It could do a little both.
I
Yeah.
gotta check this shit out.
Yeah.
Let's go, Sally.
Yeah. I have quite a few friends who sit there and they think, oh, this would be great. How about I go check this out? And then I tell them some of the stories, and then they say, oh, screw that. Never mind. I'm not going. And then you have people like my father who are like, oh, I still want to go. I think this would be awesome. I'm like, no, it's totally not awesome. You don't want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me. I don't know if it's gonna be awesome. I just want to check it out.
Yeah. No, you're on your own with that.
What do you think? What do you think it is?
I honestly, I can't say it's possibly, there's been a lot of teams that have gone through there. Every person, every team brings their own energy from every location they've ever visited. So I honestly think it's a compilation of just a lot of energy located into one place. However, this has been occurring since before it's become a hot spot for investigations. So it can be anything. I mean, it really can. It can be a combination of people just knowing that at one point it was an abandoned home. So they went in and they started doing this crazy, Ouija board usage and summoning demons and whatnot, and it just kind of stirred things up, and then it became an occupied home, and then just one thing led to another.
So, do Ouija boards have a reputation or a history of opening up these portals, and like portals to what exactly? Like when you say demons or evil, like what exactly? Like, do you believe that it's like the devil? Do you believe in heaven and hell, and this is like the devil, and these are like devilish spirits, spirits from hell that are coming up into this realm, or what would be your idea with this?
I believe you can contact anybody through a Ouija board, but a lot of people,
Anybody dead?
anybody, but a lot of
Okay.
people perceive a Ouija board to be only something evil because that's all they see in movies and in TV shows. I've used a Ouija board to just connect with somebody who's not evil. But that's when it goes along with what I had said earlier. You got to be responsible with it. Don't be an idiot using this Ouija board because you are talking to someone dead. Just like going into a haunted location and talking to what you think is thin air and it's not, you're communicating with a spirit or a ghost in that location. So you're essentially opening yourself up to that communication. It's the same way with a Ouija board. You have to be smart about
So my
what you're
story
doing.
about yelling at the ghost to show up probably didn't make you happy.
Well, I mean, I'm okay with it. We've had a couple of people that have gone down there and yell at it. One of them in
I didn't
particular.
yell, but I was.
One person called him a puffy man, and that got him stirred up a little bit. When Stephanie went down there.
Come on, puffy man.
Yeah, she did. She said, "Where you at, puffy man?" I don't think he wasn't
sometimes-
too happy with that one.
Sometimes if you're dealing with an asshole ghost, I think it's okay to
Be an asshole.
mess with
back.
them.
be an
little
asshole
bit.
a little bit back.
Asshole speak asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
He's perfect at it.
Yeah.
No, they hate me. Every ghost we
Every
ever
lo-
run into
every
loves
location.
Ed. They absolutely
They do.
love Ed,
They do love
and they hate me.
Laj, you want the rest of that?
No.
They're always calling Eddie's name.
They're always asking for Ed, and then I get called names. So we went
You
to I forget where we were investigating, and I said, "Can you say my name?" And it says, "Dickhead."
Oh, that was at Glore.
That was at Glore.
That was
That
at
was at Glore. Yep,
Whoa.
that was up at the psych
But
hospital.
then whenever we were at Garnett, we were asking it what they thought of Elijah, and they called him an asshole. It just it happens.
I think I'm a nice guy.
We all think that.
Apparently the ghosts don't.
It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. Yep.
Okay. So, but so do you think it's?
I think Ouija boards are safe to use as long as you use them
No,
responsibly.
I mean like these evil spirits. Do you think they're from hell? Is this what we're thinking? Or do you believe in like a heaven and a hell, like to different realms, or is evil just evil
We're
and it's
getting
just?
deep.
We are getting
Well, yeah,
deep.
I'm curious what you think in evil. Like if you get this weird energy and you think it's a dark and evil,
I
are
think
the adjectives you use. I'm just curious where your evil spirits are. Where you guys think that coming? Like, what is your philosophy behind that? Is there good and evil, or is it heaven and hell? Is there Jesus and the devil? Like what do we got going on here?
I honestly think that depends on who you ask and what their religious construct is, right?
But is it religious at all? Do you think it's just? I'm just asking you guys because you guys experience it more than.
I don't know. I can put it into words yet, other than it's evil,
dark energy,
It's
just
dark.
something
It's
dark.
Oh,
evil.
Yeah.
It's not an asshole ghost,
Okay.
living person who passed away and
I
is
gotcha.
just an asshole.
Okay.
It's something else. Now Eddie's a strong Christian, so Eddie would tell you the whole demons, angel, hell, heaven thing.
You
Okay.
can talk about it for hours.
Oh, yeah, you get him rambling and he won't stop. I don't think that I necessarily ascribe to that personally, my own personal beliefs.
Sure.
But you look at Hindu monks will say evil is something that's inside of us. So maybe this is just like a person who's just been pushed to that brink that it's just changed their very energy. I don't know. You could go. We could philosophize.
Oh no, absolutely. I was just
whole
kind of
show, I
curious
don't know.
what your personal beliefs were on what these were. If you feel it's darkness, like what do you think it is, and so conversely from that, are there angelic ghosts that are like just full of love and they just want to just embrace you with love and like happiness. Like, could you just come in there uplifted and like, oh, it's good to see you, Alice. Oh, Alice just brings me warmth and happiness, and I just love being here. I'm euphoric. I almost feel like I'm on a drug. Like, is there anything like that?
It's like
If
an
you,
alley question.
I know. If you talk to our psychic, she's big on the angels thing,
Yeah.
and says that she's had experiences with angels and stuff like that. I personally have not. I don't think you have, right?
No.
Now we've ran into ghosts that were nice. Sophia at Vale. Sophia's very warm and welcoming, and she especially loves you, and she loves one of the board members named Pam. She loves interacting, and she's even complimentary. She'll say she loves what they've done with the house. She loves something in the garden that they did. They added some rose bushes or something, and Pam asked, and she said she loved it. It was beautiful. There's that. There's nice ghosts and there's mean ghosts, and then there's this evil, which is just
something else.
I don't have a belief around it other than it's evil. Like what does that mean? I don't know. I've not done enough. I've not experienced enough. I
think it's stuff. I think it's something I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Because ever since, well, I should say before becoming a part of a paranormal team, I thought I had it figured out. But now that I'm a part of a paranormal team, it's really gotten me to think about things differently and for me to question things a little bit more further.
Yeah.
So I think it's just something that
the
I'm
more
still
you know,
learning
the less
about.
you know, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't think it's something that I will ever really have an answer to, because when I have an answer to it, something else may come about that'll completely change my aspect on it.
Okay.
Every time we've investigated Sally, it's been a little different. We've learned something a little different. The only other place, like I said, we've had something similar to this is at Villisca Axe Murder House up in Iowa. We've only been there once. I think we've had 2 other investigations we've planned or talked about. And for one reason or another, they fell out. I had a moment when we were there 20, 30 minutes where I blacked out. I don't remember.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I remember
It was scary.
plotting how to kill Ed.
Wow.
And he turned the camera head around so we couldn't see him.
Whoa.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shannon. So towards the end of the night, we made a rule nobody was to go back in the house anymore. We were done with the house for the night. We were locking the doors, and that's it. You sleep in this barn that's outside, and we slept there. The barn's harmless. And I remember seeing Ed at the door, locking the door up, and thinking, I bet I can get him back in there. I don't remember getting or what I said or how I got him back in the house. We went up to the second floor. We were in the master bedroom. You can still see the axe marks in the ceiling from when he raised the axe up and swung it down. So I remember Ed had his back to me, and he's examining one of these axe marks and talking about it. And I remember thinking of the ways that I could kill him and the stuff that was in the room that I could use. Wasn't my, this is weird, this is going to sound weird, wasn't my thoughts. You've kind of mentioned that. Wasn't my thoughts. Like, I didn't want to kill Ed. I wasn't thinking that.
Yeah.
It was like these intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
And I don't remember anything else. And we were in there 20, 30 minutes. I guess Shannon radioed in and said, what in the hell are you guys doing back in there? Didn't respond, but I grabbed the camera she could see us on and turned it to the wall so she couldn't see us.
And he wasn't even supposed to be in there. Eddie went in there so that way he can go just kind of close up for the night. And I had told Elijah, you're not going back in there, because Elijah was saying, I don't feel right. I need to be done. So I said, well, you need to stay put. Well, he ended up disappearing and slipping into the house without any of us knowing.
Damn.
And then the second I had seen him cross by the camera, I radioed and I said, Elijah, what the hell are you doing in there? You need to get out of there. And he just blatantly ignored me. And yeah, when that camera had turned around, I said, what is going on? Like, this is not what he does. And it really concerned me because he doesn't do stuff like that. So I said, somebody needs to go get him because this is not okay. This is not what he does. So that was a little worrisome.
Yeah. And that's not me. So is that a demon from hell? I don't know, but it was something evil, something not right, something. And I have a feeling that the more we do this, we'll probably encounter those some more, and we will probably go back to Sally at some point. We'll probably go back to
and then we have
Villisca at some point.
We do have a place that we're going to this year that could also raise up that question too.
It's supposed to be in the same vein.
It is. And we can't say what it is just because of Allie, in case she ends up listening. We don't want to ruin it for her. But it's, it's supposed to be right around the lines of Sally, and I don't know.
So we're going there in November. We're going there to film one of our episodes. So
cool.
we're sleeping there for an entire weekend. Yeah, we'll be locked into that place, and
so that's you guys like do
we'll see what happens.
Investigations. Like, we're just locking in.
Yeah,
we bring cots and sleeping bags.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
Balls.
But
to
I mean,
wall.
that's something that we've been wanting to do. I mean, it's. I had brought up doing just full-on weekend stuff when I first joined the team, and we started playing around with it a little bit at our own places last year. And I said, no, I mean, this is something we really need to do, especially if we're going to do documentaries or any kind of episodes. We need to spend an entire weekend, and we need to do places we've never done before. So, I mean, yeah, like you said, we're going balls to the wall this year, but it's going to be really good episodes, though.
With these evil entities, if you will, and you guys going about doing all these investigations, is there any thought or concern with what would happen to you when you guys die? If there will be any repercussions or ramifications for any kinds of these investigations or anything like that?
I always joke around and say I'm on like the first seat in the first bus, straight line into like no man's land. like, and just joking around, but I
What
mean,
are
I
you
don't
talking
know,
about?
because my mom always says the same thing. She's like, I'm just gonna rocket straight to hell. Like, that's just how. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not a very religious person.
I'm not saying religious,
So
but you
I
will.
have
You will.
no
I will. I
idea.
hate to break it to you, but you will die one day.
Oh, I know. This is
And something
depressing.
may or may not happen afterwards. And I was just wondering if you personally have any kind of thoughts if they're
I don't.
I think I'm
don't.
gonna end up haunting a place. In all honesty, I really do.
because you want to.
I feel like I'm gonna be that person that's gonna die and haunt a place.
Okay.
I really
I
do.
think part of doing this is having a legit curiosity about it, not a final understanding. You know what I mean? Like, okay, when I die, I'm going to be a ghost. When I die, I'm going to this.
Yeah.
I think we have a very, I think we all have very open minds, and that's part of what we're doing. Like, what is this? What is this?
Mm-hmm.
Do we just become energy? Do we become a ghost haunting a place? Do we, and when we're investigating, I think we approach it from what can we learn?
But there's no thought of like there could be ramifications for my afterlife for this.
For doing this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
I don't think
Not
so.
even, but there's one. You can do it ignorantly, but then you can do it where you are going balls to the wall with intention, like you guys are doing. So like, I don't know. I'm not saying there is, or
I don't
anything. I'm just
think-
curious
I
if that's
don't-
anything
no,
you've thought about.
I mean,
It's a good question.
question. Yeah.
Not something I think we've ever thought or talked about at all.
Okay.
We just kind of do it. We like pushing the envelope a little bit,
Uh-huh.
and we like trying to learn as much as we can every investigation. But I don't know. Maybe we'll have a whole lot of friends already made.
That's gonna be a road trip conversation with Eddie.
Oh boy, you can have that one. Maybe we die and Sophia Vale pops up and is like, "Guys, you're here! Hey,
The party's starting."
we're old friends
Right,
now.
right.
'Cause we spent so much time together already."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. I think part of doing this and doing it correctly, I think it takes having kind of that mind of a child, where you don't have a decision about what it looks like, but you have this innocent curiosity of just wanting to learn and wanting. You know what I'm saying? Like
I do, absolutely.
Like a kid, that's part of like believing in Santa. Yeah, that's plausible. Sure, why not? Because you don't already have your mind made up about things.
Right.
I think we tend to be that way a little bit with paranormal stuff, and not just ghosts. We like to talk about aliens and Sam Squatches and
Like to talk about aliens.
I love it. I love alien stuff. Ed is a huge Sasquatch guy. He loves the Sasquatch thing. But you kind of have to have that. I don't know. I don't have my mind made up. I don't have the answers. Let's just go and see what happens. Let's stay at this potentially evil place. Let's stay there all weekend and see what happens. Gets us in trouble with our psychic sometimes. Because she has more of a rules-based view of things, I think.
She'll warn us and say, I don't think this is a good idea. And, of course, you have Elijah and I and say, screw it.
And we'll say, all right, Allie, then you need to leave because it's about to get crazy.
And then, of course, Eddie's like, I don't know, man. I don't think we should. I think we should play it safe. And we're like, no, Eddie, this is the deal.
This is why we're here.
We're doing
this is why we're here. We want
You don't
to
get
see
anywhere
what
playing it
happens.
safe.
No. This is why we're here. We're here to push things and see what we come up with.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, now this question, we'll say we don't have to give it a time limit, but if you've done anything like this, the statute of limitations would have been lifted by now because it would have been a long time when you possibly would have done this. Have you guys ever messed with psychedelics? Mushrooms or acid or DMT or anything like that?
No, the only thing I have ever done is smoke weed.
Okay.
And I mean, it was laced, but it was passed to me on accident. And I did experience bags of leaves coming to life and chasing me, and then I got lost in a dead end
Laced
of the
with
neighborhood.
what? Who laces marijuana?
I have no idea. It was when I
think it was
moved to
Coke,
Texas.
Crack.
I think it was laced with wet is what it was.
Wet?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
okay.
bad.
Were you
And then-
you were on the hood?
That was serious,
I was
yeah.
in Texas, and so I
In the
remember
hood in Texas?
No, it was just with a bunch of friends that I worked with
Oh my
at
God, friends
Joe's
don't
Crab
let
Shack.
you smoke
Oh my gosh!
wet.
But it was on accident, and I didn't know. And I remember going home.
That explains a lot now.
Shut up. I remember going home and my mom was in the living room and I'm like, oh fuck, how am I gonna get past her? Because I am just so high but I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm having out of body experience. It was just so bizarre. And my mom didn't know how bad it was until like years later. But yeah, I haven't done anything since.
Wow.
That's formaldehyde. Of course you didn't.
Yeah,
go
it
back.
was really bad.
Dang.
Yeah, it was really bad.
I haven't. I've done just about everything else in my
Okay.
20s.
Well-
I experimented. I was a musician in my 20s.
Okay.
So there was a lot of backstage shenanigans.
Well, what kind of music was it? Hair rock?
Jazz.
Jazz. Okay.
Jazz.
Okay.
My jazz instructor, who is still an instructor in this town, had a special. I was a sax player.
Cool.
Had a special sax made to store his cocaine in the actual saxophone.
Nice.
So while he was playing, he could pick the horn up and then keep playing.
Oh my god.
that was my influence in college. So there was
nice.
we had some wild times, but never
Okay.
never hallucinogens.
All right. Well, they can make you see. I don't know. I've done DMT once, and that brings you to another dimension. And I was curious after doing the Veil House, what that would be like if you went to one of these places like that. If you did one of these psychedelics, if you mixed it with
Oh
the
my
haunted
gosh.
investigation, what kind of stuff you could maybe
I can just
experience?
That's a good
you know what I mean?
question. Well, maybe we'll have Shannon try
No,
that
that's
experiment.
Let me tell
I
you
could
something.
just not take Ritalin and then we'll be game for me hallucinating.
That's an episode. You
That would
want
be
to
a
talk
good
about
episode.
an episode? So and so does shrooms in the Veil House. Or
Yep.
so and so.
And we leave him in there alone and film it.
No, you got to babysit him, make sure
Nuts.
everything's good. But just like you could have like these different episodes. So and
That
so.
sounds
on
like you're
acid, so-and-so.
volunteering.
No,
I was about to say
40
that would be
years
all
old.
on you. I wouldn't know how
No.
to deal with that.
No, I'm 40 years old. That's a young man's game.
That is
I
a
ain't
young
trying
Tyler.
Yeah, there you go.
Tyler, maybe
Yeah.
get him
Or
through
Eddie.
law school
You get
first.
Eddie.
Eddie might do it. He's 55 and he might do
You
it.
might be able to put like an ad out there on Craigslist or something. Looking
Oh
for
God,
someone.
who would we get then?
No. What was that?
That's a good question. I think there's a lot of you get into some of the farther out theories and ideas. I'm sure there's people that have.
I don't know if they're that
experimented.
far out. I mean, look at a lot of ancient cultures. They were messing with a lot of that stuff.
That's
and
true.
That's true.
That
That's
is
true.
A lot of spiritual connections with ayahuasca and this other
That's
thing, this
true.
other drug called
Yep.
ibogaine.
They
like
were using it to connect deeper to their ancestors. Yeah, so it
different
wasn't.
these spirit worlds. Like they're getting answers from the plants are giving them answers. The animals are giving them wisdom. There's all these different.
But nowadays, it's like you belong in a hospital.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe I'm thinking this through. Maybe we put something in Eddie's pre-investigation beer and just see what happens.
That
Well,
would be
that's
great.
Called dosing somebody, and I think it's a felony.
I see.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
see
maybe
let's-
we don't. Maybe we don't.
There's nothing wrong with it.
All right, I'm out. No felonies. I'm out.
No felonies. I don't want to take up too much of your time. It's getting a little bit late. This was a phenomenal conversation.
This was a
Man,
lot
this
of
was
fun.
fun.
This
Yeah.
was
This
great.
is fun. This is the most fun I've had.
No kidding.
Just even talking about it. It's been a blast.
Good.
I'm loving this.
I love.
setup.
Yeah, thank you.
I would totally do it again.
Well, I'll have you guys back. I mean,
Let's do it.
this again. I'm having. Yeah.
We want to have you back. Let's get you back out at Vail and
Let's
see if
do
we can
it.
get you with the basement dude.
All right, or whoever. Use the Estes. I keep wanting to call it Etsy. It's Estes.
Yeah.
I keep, Estes Park. I think Estes,
Estes Park. That's what it's named after. Because
Oh, yeah?
that's where it was first used, was at the
Okay.
Stanley Hotel
Okay.
in Estes Park. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, Shannon, Elijah, you guys were awesome. I love you. Leave this. I love you. I do love you guys.
I love you too.
I'll leave this a minute here for you guys to kind of pimp whatever you guys want with your
Websites and stuff.
well, yeah, that and the events
The
you got
events.
coming
there
up
you
and all
go.
that through
for it.
October's coming up. You got all this. Yeah, I got some good stuff going here. Pimp what
What-
you guys want to pimp.
The easiest thing to do is Google Apex Paranormal. You'll find everything. Our website is theapexparanormal.com. Or Facebook, Instagram. We're on Twitter. We don't use it as much, but they're all at the Apex Paranormal. You can also find information on hauntedveil.com, VAILE, or facebook.com/hauntedveil. You can look us up that way. And we keep those pretty updated with all of our events. Again, October events we've got coming up starting next weekend, October 2nd, October 10th, October 23rd and 24th, and then the big shebang on October 31st, Halloween night.
Yeah.
Tickets and information for all those events are on Apex's Facebook page. You go to the events tab, and all of our upcoming events are listed on there. We've actually got 2 this weekend with Katie Stafford. He's a local guy, but he was on Travel Channel show called Ghost of Morgan City. He's known as the paranormal mad scientist because he comes up with all these crazy inventions and contraptions. And
We get some of our equipment from him.
we get some of our gear from him. He'll be at Vale Mansion on Friday and at the Dillingham Lewis House on
cool.
Saturday doing events. And there's still a few tickets left, I think, for both of them. So people are interested, again, it's on Facebook page or the Apex website.
Yep. And for Dillingham, it's they can visit Facebook, the Spirits of Blue Springs.
Yep. And the website is spiritsofbluesprings.com for the Dillingham Lewis House. Yep.
Awesome. Guys, this was great.
Yeah.
I think we just like barely scratched the surface. There's so much more to get to.
Yes.
I'll get you guys back in here.
Let's do
I'm
it
going to come out
anytime.
and I'm
That'd
going
be
to
cool.
antagonize a couple more ghosts.
Let's do it. We'll have you out
That'd be great.
anytime. You just let us know.
All right. Well, guys, this was great, and we're out of here. Bye.
All right.